With the 27th pick in the 2015 NFL Draft, Dallas took the long and lengthy safety out of UConn, the guy who broke multiple combine records by the name of Byron Jones. During the draft process, the UConn defensive back was projected to be a late second rounder to a mid third round pick. Both an outstanding combine, he rose to an early second. But the Cowboys took a chance on him in the late first round as they drafted a position of need and were willing to take a reach. The Dallas Cowboys were in a win now mode going into 2015, obviously before Tony Romo got hurt. And the way the 2014 season went, there was hope for another deep playoff run. The only question mark going into the season was how they would do without DeMarco Murray and finding their replacement, who signed with the Philadelphia Eagles in the offseason. And they did just fine replacing him in the offseason with guys like Darren McFadden, Alfred Morris, and Joseph Randle, and then obviously drafting the superstar Zeke a year later. But the only need in 2015 was a safety. And the Cowboys had guys. They had J.J. Wilcox and Barry Church and had expiring deals, though. And they were getting up there in age. So with expiring deals, guys in their early to mid-30s, why not take a safety? And obviously the 2015 season didn't go well because of Romo getting hurt. And then from the years 2015 to 2017, the project pick in Byron Jones was going so-so or about 50-50, showing at times that he can be a stud and at other times showing why there were questions going into the draft. And so going into the 2018 season, the recently hired defensive back coach Chris Richard made the decision and moved Byron Jones over to corner. And let's just say it was a great decision. From the jump, Jones was an amazing corner and helped turn the tide for the Cowboys defense of 2018. Byron would be one of the best corners in 2018, making the Pro Bowl while having the second most passes defended and having the third best completion percentage from quarterbacks when targeted, while being third in the league in tackles for corners. And here's where a decision had to be made for Jerry Jones. After a tough 2019 season for Byron, he was due for an extension, while at the same time there were four other key guys that needed paid, while a huge name that would eventually need getting paid as well. Those guys were Ezekiel Elliott, DeMarcus Lawrence, Jalen Smith, Lahiel Collins, and then Dak Prescott would eventually need his money a couple years down the line, meaning they had to save some cap space for a couple years down the road. First in line was Lawrence, then they paid Zeke after the holdout, then Lahiel Collins, and then here came that decision. Do they pay Jalen Smith, a player who played great, or who has played great throughout his career so far, and was another important piece in 2018 and helping turn that defense around, and a guy who had a great comeback story? Or Byron Jones, a 28-year-old cornerback who essentially only played corner 2 years in the league and played with injuries most of 2019. So with that being said, 2018 was the only good year for him at this time. So back in 2019, the answer was clear. But now hindsight, in the year 2021, the answer should have been different. The Cowboys decided to give Jalen Smith a 5-year, $64 million deal, and then so sadly Byron Jones was the odd man out in Dallas. Byron would quickly sign a 5-year, $82 million deal with the Miami Dolphins, making him the highest paid corner in the league. Jalen Smith, who had a great year in 2018 and had an even better year in 2019 making the Pro Bowl, in his first year under his new contract in 2020 had a very bad year, and in a horrible start in 2021 made him a trade candidate. After refusing to take a pay cut or a restructured contract and finding a trade partner, he was cut 4 games into the 2021 season. The Packers would give him a chance, and it would only last 2 games after horrific performances. And then for Byron Jones, he had a pretty solid 2020 season, and has had a decent season in 2021. So with hindsight being 2020, the Cowboys should have kept Byron Jones. But the only negative side, the only negative side effect would be that they would never get Trayvon Diggs. But I think that they would still need a corner. Like if we were to stop Byron Jones, Trayvon Diggs would still be a guy that would get drafted. So I think Trayvon Diggs would still end up on the Cowboys. So imagine a cornerback room of Byron Jones, Trayvon Diggs, Anthony Brown, and Jordan Lewis, who are all having tremendous years. And from a Cowboys fan, that would be pretty awesome. And that is what you call a what if and the butterfly effect. And this situation is in full swing. Imagine what would have happened if they paid Byron Jones instead of Jalen Smith, or paying neither of them and using that money on a big name free agent class, which was a very big one in 2020. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as my comeback to YouTube on the grind, comment what you think. And go Cowboys.